naval battles in the early 20th century, it marked the development of the Navy. For 10 years, which country has a lot of armor will be considered an invincible master on the world map. The giant metal fortresses, the dead born from the open sea, the rise and fall of the armored era. Turn the tide of World War, strongly RA-SAO, don't take your eyes off the screen. Because it's all going to be decoded in today's video, in the 80s of the 19th century. Firecrackers, explosive, or incendiary bullets has become an incalculable threat for warships made of wood, usually seen at that time. And this weapon was rapidly gaining popularity after the introduction of the 203mm cannon as a standard French and American warship weapon in 1841. Although the wooden hull also withstood gunfire quite well, but the development of high explosive ammunition that led to the design of armor for warships. It's extremely urgent. 1859. The French Navy commissioned the first iron-hulled ship. In the world, it's called Glory. The heart of the ship is 8 steam-powered boilers. Coal power, 2,500 horsepower. There are also 3 spare masts. In the age that people don't fully rely on steam. The special thing about Glory, of course, is the iron shell. With the thickest seat up to 120 millimeters outer cover, 430 millimeters thick wooden body. They are advertised is to be able to resist disruption of heavy gunboats firing explosive shells which easily pierced wooden hulls at the time. This event marked a major turning point for the closed industry world ship parallel to that. Weapons-making technology has made tremendous progress. It allows you to build larger cannons and shoot farther. 1860 Royal Navy put into service their first iron-hulled destroyer, the HMS Warrior ships, with a full load displacement of up to 9,284 tons. HMS Warrior created the premise for the development of warships. There's a bigger and bigger amount of water later on. The Royal Navy continue to lead the way in the development of warships. It's getting worse. They are with France to launch a program to build a new armored ship as well as the conversion of existing propeller warships into ironclad escorts. Within 2 years, Italian tops Spain and Russia. They've all ordered these armored ships. Battle of Hampton Road during the American Civil War. It was the first time the armored fighters fought each other. To the mid-1870s, steel is used as a fabrication material along with iron and wood. French Navy's redoxable battleship launched in 1876. It became the world's first battleship, using steel as the main fabrication material. By 1890, they had introduced the battleship. It's called pre-armored. You can see it. They're ships with thick steel hulls, equipped with mixed cannons of all sizes on rotating cascades, and no chambers with displacement ranging from 15,000 to 17,000 tons from the berth. Then this type of warship has actually become the scary war machine. The shots fired from a cannon have the power of destruction. It's terrible. Major countries in the world racing to ship new ships with large displacement and more powerful weapons throughout the 19th century, the power of a navy, determined by the size of the ships, to 1906. The British continued to assert their dominance of the oceans with the birth of the ship. This is the world's first battleship. It's revolutionized the design of warships. When you combine a large caliber cannon, small caliber cannon allows for enhanced offensive and defensive power. HMS Death Note has launched a jaw-dropping armor race in the first half of the 20th century. The naval powers start racing to build dreadnoughts, their own possession of modern battleships. It's not just necessary for naval power, it's like today's nuclear weapons. They represent a country's place in the world. German, Russian, Italian, Shirt, and United States, they've all started class armor programs. While the second-tier powers include Turkey, Argentina, Brazil, and Chile, has been put into operation the class armor built in British and American shipyards in the years of the First World War, the battleships. He showed the power to control the war. However, it also exposed the fragility of battleships. For cheap weapons. September 1914. The potential threat of U-boat submarines of German capital ships as confirmed by the successful attack on the British cruisers, especially the fact that BA armored cruisers, it was sunk by a German submarine. U-9 in less than an hour. Torpedoes are another dangerous threat, when a month later, his super battleship is HMS Odyssey. It just launched. It hit Min and sank in the ensuing battles. The German army escaped British fire, overwhelmed by ordering German cruisers and destroyers to close to the British battleships, forced them to retreat. To avoid the risk of a torpedo attack, there are more submarine attacks. Almost sank the battleship. And 7 about the cruiser has led to concern, growing in the Royal Navy, about the fragility of battleships after the end of the First World War. The class entered the period between the 2 world wars, while the winners. Not limited by the innocent treaty, the navies of many empires were shrouded in destruction after the war to face the prospect of an arms race navy with you and Japan. So the chemistry was enthusiastic, campaigning for a limited deal, the Washington Naval Treaty of 1922. This treaty limits the number and size of celestial bodies that every great power can own, and demanded that Britain accept equality with the United States, as well as abandoning the alliance with Japan. The Washington Treaty. This was followed by a series of naval treaties. However, they were officially deactivated when World War II broke out. But the classification of ships that the parties' agreement still applies. That means there's less new armor launched. From 1919 to 1939. They prevent growth. By setting the maximum limit, the weight of the ships, make the designs as your NBA class after the first Dakota of America and the KI class of Japan never stepped out of the drawing board. The designs that were put into action during this period, it's called class armor. Treaty shipbuilding holiday caused by naval treaties that caused the strategic position of the class armor to change the development of the strategic bomber. Make the Navy. It is no longer the only means. Show strength on the battlefield and the development of aircraft carriers. Make the Kia borderline. There's a rival competing. Resources devoted to the construction of capital ships, but the battleship race has come to a head. During the Second World War, battleships such as the German Bismarck, Iowa of America, King George his year Nakato of Japan, their war machines is death sowing. It's terrible for any sailor to face them. They use guns from 360 to over 400 millimeters. With attacks that shake the seas, the Bismarck was the largest battleship ever developed. Construction of launching in 14 February 1939, she was considered the most powerful warship in Europe at the time. It is equipped with 8 380mm cannons and about 50 smaller cannons. The hull was covered in 320mm thick armor to prevent gunfire from entering the ship at a maximum speed of 30 knots per hour. Bismarck. It was one of the fastest battleships at the time, but he can't run away from his fate. In May 1941, he joined his army. Including carrier-class armor and the short torpedo bombers fixed the kill fin officially ended the series of days of fame of the world of Bismarck-class armor. However, the design of this device only really goes to the top. With the birth of Yamato-class super armor. Of Japan, Yamato has a total displacement of 72,000 tons, except for the aircraft carrier. It's the largest warship ever built in history. The super battleship was armed with 9 460mm guns, 12 cannons, 100 years, 5 millimeters, 12 127mm cannons, 24 25mm cannons, and 4 13.2mm machine guns. People liken Yamato like an invincible fortress at sea, but battleships are ships. unrivaled war machine at sea. If we look at the displacement and the weapon systems, however, the size and firepower of the IT doesn't make battleships safer. On the contrary, it is a mental weakness. The strong development of dive fighters carrying bombs and torpedoes has turned giant war machines at sea into delicious pieces because the size is too large. The battleships became heavy and slow. Large number of anti-aircraft guns on board, it didn't help them stop the attack. The work of planes. In addition, submarines equipped with torpedoes that could easily sink giant battleships. In a simple way, on November 2nd, 1944, giant ship damage Easy N Kongo of Japan, sunk by the U.S. submarine USS Missouri in the Taiwan Strait, has shown its vulnerability. Or in the Battle of Tango in the Pacific, super battleship Yamato become the lone prey among the wolves of American planes. Japanese 72,000-ton heavy war machine tried to maneuver and resist. It was hit by 6 bombs and 11 torpedoes. It exploded and sank into July 4, 1945. It was this event that signaled the decline of Heaven Armor class, the last years of World War II. Another extremely dangerous weapon. It's being developed as an anti-ship missile. Have control. They have long range, high precision. It can, of course, destroy any warship. Anti-ship missile P-15 Thermit launched from an Egyptian warship that sank the Israeli destroyer Eilat has signaled a shift in naval warfare after World War II. Then battleships and heavy cruisers gradually withdraw from the naval service of other countries without adding any new designs in this category. 1909-2 Iowa. The world's last battleship class has stopped working. It's the end of the battleship era. Now you can see one of them again. If you travel to the U.S., especially the USS Iowa, the largest battleship, the most powerful Navy ever built. It's become a floating museum, Pacific Battleship Center, located in Port of Los Angeles. Some of you are here. AI has been to visit the armored ship. This is famous. Please share your exciting journey. Let everyone know.